are you doing?
I am doing good. How are you?
I am rocking it. So basically, I had like a lot of questions. And
Oh boy.
I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
So basically, like the first question that I have for you is like basically, what is the key to succeed in like admissions?
Oh wow, that is a loaded question, Sarah. But but I would say really it's confidence. You have to be driven. You have to have a passion to help people and see them succeed, right? Communication is going to be huge, but empathy, because in order for you to understand where your prospects are coming from, you have to have empathy. You need to understand their background and how you can actually help them. But I would say most importantly, listening skills. Listening skills. I think sometimes admissions, they have a bad habit of putting people into a box, right? Just so that they can hit that enrollment expectation. But they have to be able to sit back and listen and say, all right, so what is this person telling me that they're lacking? What do they actually need? And if I can actually help them. So if I would say the top, I would say listening skills and empathy in order to be successful.
Yeah, it's like you just fill that gap, right?
Exactly.
So like in terms of this, so what do I need to be a successful advisor?
I would say time management. Time management and having a plan is going to be crucial, especially if you have expectations. I find that sometimes advisors, they come in every single day and they hold their head down and they just dial. But you already know that doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, that's called insanity. And in admissions, they have daily expectations, weekly expectations, monthly class start expectations. So you cannot just come in and dial and then just pray that somebody actually sticks. You have to have some type of plan of action if you're going to be successful at anything in admissions.
I mean, like, I do agree with you. Having a plan is really important.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, where do you think, like, for me as an advisor, where do you think, like, or as, you know, most advisors, where do you think that we fall, like, short?
Oh, man. The follow-up. The follow-up is where the average advisor falls short. And here's why. They're on the phone with someone, and all of a sudden the person goes, oh my gosh, can you call me back at 2:00? Immediately in the advisor's mind, they're thinking, oh, this person is brushing me off. So they say, okay. And they make like the most weakest appointment with this person. But then guess what? They don't even follow up with the person because they're automatically thinking it was a brush off in the first place. I think what's important to understand, people are busy. So the same way you're at work all day long, where do you think your prospects are? They're working too. They have families. They have other obligations. And what is the worst that can happen if you call somebody back? They don't answer? Okay, call again and then send them a text and an email. But the follow-up, that's where a lot of advisors definitely fall short. Just make the call.
Yeah, so it's more like I feel like it's more like a consistency thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. And then just like the consistency, you know, what does it look like in admissions, like to you?
I would say a positive mindset is very, very important if you want to be consistent. It's kind of like forward thinking. I know that it's a numbers game in admissions, and sometimes if you're not having a good week or a good day, a lot of times they would come in the next day, and I was guilty of this too when I was at advisor. If I was having a super bad week, as soon as I walk into the office, I'm automatically thinking, all right, I don't have anything going on, so I don't know how today is going to be any different than the rest of the week. But in order to be consistent, your mindset, you have to have a positive mindset and you have to speak positivity into existence. You don't have anything going on for the day. Okay, but there's tons of new leads that's coming in. I'm sure you have some appointments that didn't show from the week before that you can follow up on. I'm sure you have some personally developed leads that you still haven't called as yet. You know, sometimes if you don't see anything that's going on, you have to say to yourself, I'm going to make it happen. And when you start thinking positive, you start putting those positive steps into place. And then you just hit the ground running and you don't look back. Have a plan, stick to it. But positivity is going to be huge because your prospects, they feed off of your energy, you know?
Yeah, I do get it now. I do get it now. Thank you, Kat.
Sure.
From your perspective, we need to have like a positive mindset as advisors.
Yeah.
So how do you keep that each day when you have like enrollment expectations and like the rest of the story, right?
I would say, always look back at those weeks when you were doing amazing. And it's one thing that a lot of advisors, they don't do. They don't assess, where they've been doing really good. They're just thinking about, oh my gosh, okay, I need to get to the next expectation. And sometimes it becomes really stressful because they're just thinking about that number. No one wants to get in trouble for not meeting their expectation. But what would make this so much easier is for you to look back at those weeks when you were doing really great and try to repeat that. Was it the amount of dials that I was making every day? Was it the type of conversations I was having every day? Was it my mindset? Like, was I positive back in those days? You have to be able to assess, okay, the weeks that I was doing really great, what was I doing? What did I stop doing? What has changed? And then go back to that so that you can continuously win.
Okay, yeah. All right. That sounds like a plan. And then, I really haven't value out of this. So thank you, Kat.
Sure.
What do you think most advisors fear?
Oh man. Okay, so here's the thing. Most people would assume that advisors fear, missing their class expectations and then being called into the office and getting that email. But really and truly, and this may shock a lot of people, most advisors fear the phones. And I know it's crazy because guess what? Advisors spend the entire day on the phones talking to people and interviewing, right? But I think the reason why they fear the phones, and I'm guilty of this when I was first an advisor, is because of the rejection, is what they call it, right? You have no idea who's on the other line. You have no idea how they're going to treat you. Our prospects, they're not always the nicest cookies to deal with, right? So no one wants to be told no all the time. Or if you know that you have an expectation to meet, you don't want to have someone pick up and continuously say, how did you get my information? I never requested information from the school. I don't have time right now. Who are you? And sometimes a lot of advisors, they deal with a lot of rude calls, right? So when you make that next call, a lot of times when they pick up the phone, they're like saying the quick prayer, like, Lord, please let this be somebody that I can actually help, or somebody that's nice to me, because let's get real. Admissions advisors, they're people too, right? Not machines, so they have feelings, and a lot of them wear their heart on their sleeve. So I would say they really fear the phones, that the lack of not knowing. They have no idea what's about to take place. Or if you're on the ground campus, when they say your interview is here, they have no idea what they're about to walk into either. And so that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, as an advisor, there's also a lot of things that I fear, but what is the one advice that you can give me so I can improve myself?
You know what? It's all about having confidence. Confidence is key.
I do have it though. But I don't know. I feel like I'm lacking something. I feel from your from our conversation, I get that. I need to follow up because sometimes I miss that. But tell me more about what I can add or what I can do to kind of really win.
Well, here's the deal. There's a couple of different things, right? Number one, product knowledge is going to be huge, right? You have to be able to know where you're going to be able to put this person, where they're going to be the most successful. And I find that a lot of times advisors, they're intimidated because people may call and come off as if they know more than them. Right? Look, our students do tons of research before they call schools nowadays, especially since the pandemic. A lot of people, they're watching their coins and where they're investing their money, right? So you would be surprised how many times I would shop a school And some advisors, they really don't know about their programs. I know some of these programs like the back of my hand because I've been doing this over 16 years, but a lot of times they have no idea what they're selling. And if you don't feel confident in the product or the service that you're offering, guess what? Your prospects, they can sense a sense of lack of confidence from a mile away, and they will eat you alive. So I would say, if you really want to be successful, you have to know your competition. You have to know your product or service, and you really have to be here for the right reasons. This is not a 9 to 5. On paper, maybe for some campuses, but if you truly care about what you're doing, some of these situations that you hear every day, they stick with you throughout the day. Some of these students, you're thinking about them at night, before you go to sleep. So you have to be here for the right reason. And I always say to every advisor, if you want to continue to grow, every single time you hang up the line or you walk somebody out of your building, you have to say to yourself, number one, did I do everything in my power to help this person? Or you should be able to say, this person needs this because, and name 3 things. And if you don't really have 3 pain points that you can pinpoint as to why this person really needs this opportunity, you miss something. You totally miss something. I think advisors, they need to slow down, and really look at every prospect as their own individual person. That's how you're going to be able to get quality students who's actually going to start school, but then they're going to graduate and really start those careers that they deserve.
True, yeah, true. I am just going to do what you said. I really got a lot of value, so thank you so much.
Yeah. Sure, my pleasure.